All right, let's dive right into an incredible discovery that literally changed a whole kingdom. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking a classic kid's story called The Farmer and the Multiplication of Greed. Now, this isn't just a fun fable, It's actually a brilliant look at human nature, the temptation of shortcuts, and the wildly compounding nature of greed.
So let me ask you guys something. Have you ever found something so magical it could make you rich overnight? I mean, imagine finding a secret treasure that could give you absolutely anything you ever wanted. Sounds pretty great, right? But what if that very same treasure could also destroy everything around you? Keep that in the back of your mind as we unpack the mechanics of this story.
Section 1, The Magic in the Dirt. Our kid's story begins in a small, super dusty village with a poor but incredibly hardworking farmer named Gopi. He worked from sunrise to sunset in these dry, unforgiving fields. But one hot afternoon, his luck completely shifted. His shovel went clang against something hard in the dirt, revealing a mysterious humming clay pot covered in glowing golden symbols.
So Gopi takes this strange pot back to his modest home, completely unaware of what it can do. But naturally curious about his new discovery, he decides to run a little test. He grabs just a single, totally ordinary mango and gently places it inside this humming pot.
Well, as soon as that mango is inside, the pot lets out this soft hum and actually starts to glow. Gopi gasps, and you would too, because that one single mango instantly multiplied into 100 perfect, juicy mangoes, just like that.
Section 2, Multiplying Wealth and Trouble. As you can imagine, Gopi's life transformed practically overnight from absolute poverty to massive wealth. He sold those 100 mangoes at the market, making more money than he'd literally ever seen in his life. He tested the pot with grains, with vegetables, and every single time, boom, multiplied by 100. He's buying new clothes, fixing up his whole house, and of course, totally amazing the whispering villagers who just could not figure out how he became so wealthy so fast. But okay, here's where the story takes a really crucial turn. Gopi wants to test the pot's limits, right? So he puts just one single chicken egg inside. Well, he ends up with 100 eggs, which quickly hatch into 100 messy, noisy, pecking little chicks that just completely overrun his house. I mean, they are everywhere. And it's in this totally chaotic moment that Gopi realizes a hard truth. This magical shortcut, it doesn't just multiply wealth. It multiplies problems at the exact same rate. Section 3, The Greedy King's Mistake. Word of a magic multiplying pot doesn't stay secret for long. The king of the land, a guy who loves treasure above absolutely everything else, orders his soldiers to seize it. Now, Gopi practically begs the soldiers to be careful. He warns them, look, the pot's power can bring immense trouble. But the king, he completely ignores him. Blinded by greed, he just declares he's going to become the richest ruler in the entire world. The king wastes no time. He has his servants just pouring gold coins into the pot, and soon this magic pot fills every single room of his massive palace with absolute mountains of shiny gold. We're talking so much gold you couldn't even walk down the hallways without tripping over treasure. But, and here's the psychological trap of infinite scalability and greed, even this wasn't enough. The king was not satisfied. He still wanted more. And this leads to a truly disastrous yet kind of predictable idea. The king actually thinks to himself, well, if it multiplies gold, what happens if it multiplies me? Ignoring the frantic warnings of all his advisors, he climbs right into the glowing pot. The palace shakes, thunder echoes, and pop, 10 kings pop out. Then pop, 50 kings appear. Within moments, there are literally 100 identical greedy kings standing right there in the middle of the palace. Crazy, right? Section 4, Smashing the Magic Pot. So, as you can guess, magic without wisdom leads to absolute disaster. We now have 100 angry kings all pointing at each other, yelling, "No, I am the real king." The arguments quickly turn into shouting, and that shouting turns into an all-out physical fight for the throne. The poor soldiers and ministers have absolutely no idea who to obey because everyone looks exactly the same. In a matter of minutes, this beautiful palace devolves into a completely chaotic battlefield.
Well, word of all this chaos reaches Gopi back in his village, and he knows he has to do something. He rushes to the palace, pushes his way through all these fighting kings, and realizes that this magic pot was never actually a blessing at all. So Gathering all his courage, Gopi lifts the heavy clay pot high above his head and throws it as hard as he can against the stone floor. Crash! He smashes it into hundreds of tiny pieces. The exact moment the pot shatters, a brilliant, blinding flash of light completely fills the room. When the light finally fades away, the kingdom is saved. 99 of those duplicate kings had simply vanished into thin air. The only person left standing in the center of the room was the original king. And let me tell you, he was extremely red in the face and deeply, deeply embarrassed by the terrible mess his own greed had just caused.
Section 5. The value of hard work. To thank Gopi for his bravery and, for basically restoring order to the entire kingdom, the king gives Gopi his land back, along with a really handsome reward for his honesty. But here's the beautiful part. Instead of searching for another magic pot, Gopi goes right back to farming. Only this time, he works harder and more patiently than ever before. He carefully waters his crops, lets nature take its course, and months later, his patience pays off. His fields grow greener and way more abundant than they had ever been.
Standing there among his golden crops, Gopi really embodies the core moral of this kid's story. Look, shortcuts might always seem incredibly tempting. We've all been there, right? But lasting success, that only comes from hard work, wisdom, and patience. Wealth that you actually earn honestly brings a true sense of pride. While unearned greed, well, it usually just creates chaotic problems that simply cannot be controlled.
So, as we leave Gopi happily tending to his thriving farm, it kind of makes you stop and wonder about your own life. What is the most valuable treasure you can earn through hard work? What amazing things can you build, not with magic shortcuts, but with your own two hands, your patience, and your effort? I really hope this explainer sparked some curiosity for you today, and I absolutely encourage you to go out there and start building your own lasting success.